Welcome back, everyone. Today we're diving into the Las Vegas Raiders and taking a closer look at some of the moves they've made in free agency. This team has made noticeable improvements compared to last year, and it all started with major changes in leadership, getting the right people in the building. Tom Brady joining the organization, hiring a GM with a clear vision, and bringing in a head coach who knows how to execute have already set a solid foundation. And of course, adding Pete Carroll to oversee things, keeping Patrick Graham as the defensive coordinator, and bringing in Chip Kelly as the offensive coordinator gives this team a fresh, competitive edge. Now, let's not forget, the Raiders only won 4 games last season. They were third to last in scoring, and there's no sugarcoating how disappointing that was. While some fans might still feel underwhelmed by the Geno Smith move, it's important to look at the bigger picture here. Free agency this year wasn't particularly loaded, but the Raiders made some smart decisions to prepare for the future. One of those decisions was extending Max Crosby before free agency kicked off, an important move to lock in a key player. The trade for Geno Smith was another strategic play. While these moves alone won't suddenly turn the Raiders into a 13-4 team overnight, they're steps in the right direction. That said, there's still work to do. The Raiders need a starting running back, more wide receiver talent, additional linebackers, some help on the offensive line, and potentially more depth at quarterback. But that's exactly why the NFL draft is just around the corner. With the sixth overall pick, there's plenty of excitement about what the Raiders can do to address these needs. Let's talk about some of the signings so far. Alex Kappa is a move some have criticized, but I think it's solid. Jeremy Chin, that's a home run in my book. Re-signing guys like Lonnie Johnson and Malcolm Kunsey is smart, and adding players like Raheem Mostert, Ellendon Roberts, and Eric Stokes shows they're building depth in key areas. We'll break down these moves and what they mean for the Raiders' future in today's video. So if you're excited about what's ahead for this team, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more NFL and Raiders content. Now, before we get into Christian Ellis, because I'm really excited to talk about him, let's quickly circle back to Geno Smith. Once again, the Raiders only won 4 games last year, but Geno is an experienced quarterback at 34 years old. And while people might not go out of their way to watch Seahawks games, he's a talented player who could bring some stability to this offense. So, let's dive into all of this and see how the Raiders' offseason is shaping up. Despite being 34 years old, Geno Smith doesn't play like a typical veteran with that much mileage. In fact, he only has 83 career starts, which keeps him relatively fresh. Over the last 3 years in Seattle, Geno worked under 2 different offensive coordinators, Shane Waldron and Ryan Grubb. After Pete Carroll was let go by the Seahawks, Waldron moved on to the Bears as their offensive coordinator, but was fired after just 9 games. Grubb, who came from the University of Washington and was promoted to offensive coordinator, also struggled and eventually lost his job. So, Geno had to deal with the instability of 2 offensive coordinators who couldn't quite make it work, either in Seattle with Grubb or in Chicago with Waldron. Despite that, Geno still managed to put up solid numbers: 12,000 passing yards, 71 touchdowns, and only 35 interceptions in his 3 years as a starter. Yes, 15 of those picks came last season, but let's not overlook the bigger issue: his offensive line. According to ESPN's Mina Kimes, Geno faced the highest quick pressure rate in the league over the last 3 seasons at 18.1%. That's pressure in under 2.5 seconds. No other full-time starter dealt with that kind of heat. Let me say that again. Geno faced the highest quick pressure rate in the NFL over the past 3 years. Despite that, his performance under pressure has been impressive. In both 2022 and 2023, Geno ranked in the top 5 for PFF's big-time throw rate, and last season, he still finished 13th. An impressive feat considering the poor pass protection he had to endure. Looking at a more advanced metric, completion percentage over expected, Geno was 4th from 2022 to 2024. This stat adjusts a quarterback's completion percentage based on the difficulty of the throws, and Geno excelled here. He's an incredibly accurate passer, capable of delivering precision throws. Last season, he set single-season franchise records with a 70.4% completion rate, 47 completions in a game, and 4,320 passing yards. For the Raiders, this is a significant upgrade from Gardner Minshew or backup QB Aiden O'Connell. Now, they may still consider drafting someone like Will Howard and having him learn behind Geno, but adding Geno as their starter is a no-brainer. He's experienced, accurate, and has proven he can perform under difficult circumstances. This move is undoubtedly a step forward for the Raiders' offense. And now, let's talk about Geno Smith. This guy is a baller. He's still got plenty of gas left in the tank, and honestly, I don't care what his contract looks like. It's worth it. Shifting gears for a moment, let's discuss Christian Ellis. By the time some of you are watching this, he might already be a Las Vegas Raider. The Raiders signed the restricted free agent linebacker from New Orleans to an offer sheet. With the losses of Robert Spillane and Divine Diablo in free agency last week, both of their starting linebackers are gone. While they did bring in Elandon Roberts, he's more of a two-down player. So, it's clear the Raiders are going to prioritize the linebacker position at some point in the draft. As for Christian Ellis, I think he's a fantastic addition. I don't expect the Patriots to match the offer, especially after they brought in Robert Spillane and Jack Gibbons just hours before the Ellis news broke. Ellis has had quite the journey. He played college football under his father, Luther Ellis, at the University of Idaho. His transition to the NFL was anything but smooth. He went undrafted in 2021, signed with the Minnesota Vikings, and was eventually released. After that, he bounced around practice squads with Philadelphia and San Francisco. The Eagles kept him on their roster for about 2 years, but his defensive snaps were limited. He was waived toward the end of the 2023 season, and that's when the Patriots picked him up. And here's where things get interesting. Ellis had a breakout season. According to Pro Football Focus, he played 514 defensive snaps last season, a massive jump from his previous high of 159, combined over 3 years with the Eagles. PFF gave him an overall grade of 72.6, with a 70.1 against the run and 66.1 in coverage. Once he became a full-time starter in the second half of the season, from Week 9 onward, his 72.8 PFF coverage grade ranked 11th among all linebackers. He also forced 3 incompletions, ranking top 6 at the position. Ellis is only 26 and won't turn 27 until next January. He's coming off a career year, hitting career highs in tackles, 80, quarterback hits, 5, passes defended, 6, and even adding a sack and a half. While it's a small sample size, just half a season, there's clearly something to be excited about with Christian Ellis. And yet, some people are panicking about the Raiders' linebacker room. But trust me, the Raiders are making moves to address this. With Ellis in the mix and the draft still ahead, there's a plan in place to bolster the defense. If there's one thing Patrick Graham and the Las Vegas Raiders defensive staff excel at, it's developing linebackers. So, I'm not worried about the linebacker room as it stands right now. I also fully expect them to pick up a linebacker at some point in the NFL draft, so that position will get even more attention. Now, I want to shift gears and talk about another player, Eric Stokes, formerly of the Green Bay Packers. With Pete Carroll on board, we know exactly what he brings to the table when it comes to developing defensive backs. That's why I'm so excited about guys like Jacorian Bennett, Jack Jones, and especially Eric Stokes. Stokes is on a 1-year contract worth $4 million. Last year, he only started 7 games for the Packers, primarily as an outside corner. But let's not forget, he's a former first-round pick from the 2021 NFL Draft. Pete Carroll gave some insight into what drew him to Eric Stokes, mentioning his impressive man-to-man coverage ability, great length, exceptional speed, and versatility. With those tools and Carroll's expertise, the potential for Stokes is sky high. I can't wait to see what they can accomplish together. And with that, folks, we'll wrap it up here. If you enjoyed the breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for daily NFL and Raiders content. But before you go, I want to hear from you. First, give me your grade for the Las Vegas Raiders free agency so far. Are you impressed with their moves? Second, I want your thoughts on Geno Smith, Christian Ellis, or any of the new additions. Let me know what you think about the Raiders' direction in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your week.